Dating is so crazy. It's it's nerve-wracking and weird and fun, but back in the day, you didn't have social media. You couldn't spy on people ahead of time typically. You just learned whatever they wanted to reveal to you. Um, there wasn't social media, there wasn't internet readily available. So sometimes you were just surprised by things. So I was thinking about this the other day, and this was kind of just a blip of a memory because it didn't last very long. But um, I had a gym membership. I was probably like 17, 18, going to the gym, and I meet this guy there who's real chit chatty and outgoing, and he's pretty cute. And so we just kind of start talking. So I would see him when I'd go to the gym. That's where I'd see him. And then at some point, he asks me if I want to go do something. And I'm like, sure, yeah. Usually I don't say names too much on here, but in this case, this is horrible. My memory is a little fuzzy, and I cannot for the life of me remember his name, but I remember very vividly his face, and he wanted to be a famous actor. And so I remember at the beginning, he was giving me, um, he was having me look at his headshots. He had done a set of black and white headshots, and I'm more of like a visual person, so I can sort of picture his name, but not the whole thing. It's driving me nuts. It was something Alexander, 2 syllables. Wah wah, Alexander. Alexander might have been his middle name. I don't know. And of course, my brain's saying Jason Alexander. That wasn't him. Wasn't him. He was taller. But anyways, so we went to, we would go places, whatever. There were some clues at, like, looking back, I'm like, I probably could figure this out. He had a lifestyle that I didn't realize he had. It was a purposeful choice. He chose his lifestyle, but the way it went was whenever we'd go places, he'd either tell me he would meet me there, and he'd kind of park further down. So I never really would see his car too much, or I'd see it from a distance, or he'd ask me to drive, which was fine. I didn't care. Also, I worked at the hospital cafeteria at the time, which was also, when looking back again, maybe purposeful, kind of ingenious, but he'd show up and visit me while I was working. And then, of course, I'd sneak him a plate of food and I'd feed him. So, anyways, he, like I said, he's on the quest to become a famous actor, and this requires certain sacrifices, I guess, is kind of how he spun it to me. But after a few dates, going out to different places, I got in his car, and then I saw all the stuff. His whole car was like loaded with stuff, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of stuff, like somebody lives here. And so he just told me, he goes, yeah, I live out of my car. I decided to live out of my car, saving a ton of money. And really, when I thought it through, I was like, actually, this guy's kind of genius. He got himself a job at the gym, because you know what you can do at a gym? You can shower. I'm like, oh, well, I mean, it's kind of awesome. Plus, they have the juice bars, so you can pretty much always get food or something there, snacks and drinks and whatever. So there's always kind of food around. And so it was kind of smart. And so then he spent the money he made on things like headshots and I don't know whatever actors are doing to try and get famous. But I don't think he's famous. I don't feel like I've seen him in anything, but you know, maybe he's still trying. So that was an adventure. I never did tell my parents about that. They probably would have frowned upon that, but I thought it was kind of genius.